like a dollar. It's probably the most stable thing in the universe. And then you want an asset, which is an appreciating token that will hold its value over time. And that's Bitcoin. And if you wanted to maximize your utility, you kind of put 90% of your balance sheet into the asset, into Bitcoin. And then you put the last piece, the working capital or the checking account, into whatever's the currency that most of the retailers that you're surrounded with take. So if I was in Japan, I'd be holding 1 month worth of yen. And if I was in Italy, I'd be holding 1 month worth of euro. And if I'm in the US or a dollar economy, I'm holding 1 month worth of dollars. And then the rest I'm sweeping into my long-term asset portfolio or property portfolio. And my stock of property is, maybe I buy a property to live in because it's a nice house and I want to live in it for the rest of my life and I can't rent it. Maybe. Then maybe I buy my trophy art, or, maybe I buy the picture because I love the picture, or maybe I buy the car, or maybe I buy the boat, or maybe I buy the plane or something because I want to fly in it, float in it, live in it, whatever I want to do. But all my discretionary asset, I would put into the highest quality property, which is of course Bitcoin. So generally, I think what you're going to see is $100 trillion worth of capital flow out of investment properties in the developed world into Bitcoin, and the currencies, the euro, the dollar will get stronger. Like that. By stronger, I don't mean stronger in purchasing power. I mean, you'll probably see the dollar become a currency used in El Salvador, and you'll see it used in Venezuela, and you'll see it spread to Argentina. And why wouldn't you see it spread to every country in Africa? Like, name a currency in Africa that you would prefer to hold in your wallet versus the dollar. Like, none, I think, right? Is there a better currency than the dollar in Africa? But if I have $10,000, I'm probably going to hold $50 in my currency wallet. I'm going to convert the other 9,950 into Bitcoin, because that's my checking account versus savings account. And even then, the best thing, I think, the ideal situation you want to get to eventually is, I put 100% of my assets into Bitcoin. And then I have a credit card / credit line, which is drawn against which is converted into local currency, and it is drawn against the Bitcoin. So I have $10,000 of Bitcoin and I want to spend $37. So I spend $37 and now I owe $37 against my my 50 million Satoshis. And I never really sell my Bitcoin. I just generated debt against the Bitcoin. And we're a little bit early here, but if your expense ratio is less than your expected appreciation over time, that is to say, if you expect Bitcoin to go up 10% a year, and if you have $1 million in assets and your expenses a year of 50,000. So your expense ratio is 5% a year, and you expect Bitcoin to appreciate at 10% a year. If your expense ratio is less than your expected appreciation over time, you never have to sell anything ever. You can borrow against your assets from now to the end of eternity. Now, it requires that you have a Bitcoin banking sector developed, right? You have to have a credit line against the Bitcoin, and we see that developing in different ways around the world. But ultimately, that would be the ideal situation. You would want to have a situation where you're holding Bitcoin and you're drawing credit lines in the currencies that exist. And I think what we'll see is the world will reduce down to 10 currencies or 5: the Chinese currency, the US dollar, the euro. Right? The only way currency can exist is for the government to stay viable. And, there's no Afghan currency right now, right? I mean, it's not going to be one of those. So if you're spending anything, what are you going to be spending, right? It'll probably dollarize. If it isn't, it's already dollarized, right? So I think that what we see is a collapse of currencies to a few. And I think you see the collapse of properties to a few, right? Like, for example, there's 100,000 buildings in the US you can buy for the cost of one Bitcoin, or you can buy Bitcoin. Which of the two is the easier decision? So presumably it's like a lot of things that are manufactured as stores of value, a security, a REIT, a bond. It's like, why do I need all that stuff if I can just buy Bitcoin? So I think that, how will it develop? It'll develop at different rates organically in different countries, in different markets, based upon the culture, based upon the law, based upon the circumstances of the people, and based on crises, and based on common sense. Right? You're in Argentina. Do you feel safe in Argentina? You have $1 million. Do you want to own $1 million worth of a company in Argentina, a ranch, a building, a gold, a boat, land? Or do you want to own the currency, or do you want to own the Bitcoin?